Hey, how you doing? It's the Honey Do Carpenter, and today we're working on this. And ultimately, we want to be doing this. Everything we do here is about aircrete, pouring aircrete, and what we can use it for to make the world a better place. These forms with the wooden circles look complicated, but I promise you they're not. I've done several videos on circle making jigs, and on this one I'm doing it for a miter saw. As you can see, I've just simply clamped a piece of wood, it's about a 10-inch by 10-inch piece of wood, to my miter saw. In this instance, I want a 7-inch circle, so what I'm doing here is just cutting a 7-inch square. In this video, I'm going to show you guys how to build a $3,000 chimney system for about $100. Okay, here I'm just marking the center on those 7-inch squares. You just go corner to corner and scribe near the center, and where the marks cross is the dead center of that block. Next, I'm going to drill some 1/8-inch pilot holes. I'm going to put one in the 7x7 plank that's going to eventually become a circle, as well as on the plank that is clamped to my miter saw, where I'll fashion a nail post as a fulcrum point for that plank to spin on. Once I have it securely positioned on its turning axis, I'll just at this point go to work and start cutting off all the corners and all the hard angles of the 7x7 plank, turning it into a circle. When you're doing this portion of the job, you just want to be sure that each time you bring the saw blade down that you have a good handle on the circle and it's securely held in place. At a certain point, you'll be able to just hold the blade in place and spin the stock into the blade and complete your circle.
Why you make the perfect round circle?
I did. High five.
Yeah.
So let's see if this is going to work. I think it should. Oh, yeah. Okay, I have finally perfected my open cell mix. That's the mix that's going to be going into these heat risers and double wall stovepipes. Before I get too deep in this video, you've got to see this little demonstration. At the end, I'll be using this mix to pour into these. I've been working really hard the past couple of weeks to perfect an open cell mix that dries really hard, really rigid, makes a good brick, but it has some unique characteristics in that it's open cell and you can just pour liquid right through it. The reason I want to use this mix is because once we pour it in the heat riser around the center 4-inch tube, after it cures out, we're going to want to treat it with water glass. And we want a mix that will allow the water glass or the sodium silicate to soak in to the mix.
Good. You're getting good at that, babe.
Yeah.
And then, watch this. I'll just dump water. Oh, it's not running off the side. Where's it going?
So cool.
Where's it going? Oh, you mean you can treat this whole brick with water glass and make it refractory? You see, it goes through slowly, but it comes through. So I just increased the weight of this block by about, well, 16 ounces. I can just soak this thing, and it's a sponge, and there you go. So this is my open cell mix. I haven't ever perfected it until now. I haven't posted a mix design for it, but this is the mix that I'll be putting in all the double wall stovepipes and in all of the heat risers. It's gonna be pretty incredible.
Wait, that's the cat?
Is that a cap, Dad?
Yeah, that'll work. This is a jig. It's a tool to keep this round when I'm forming the top.
Fit a circle.
I'm gonna go.
A circle this rolls around. Mom, look at this. Mom. Sorry.
put this piece of scrap wood under it and drill all the way through it, boys. We're going to put a hole in this donut. You're going to want to put a handle on this circle. And even if you don't have a drill press, you can do this portion of the project. I happen to have one, so I used it. You'll just need to be sure to match the size of your drill bit to the size of the dowel that you're going to use for your handle. You'll want to make the length of your dowel long enough so you don't have to stick your arm too far down in the pipe. Now, to fasten the dowel in, I just drilled a pilot hole and put a screw in just to fasten it and hold it tight. Now, I don't necessarily recommend that you do what I'm doing here, but you will have to notch out your circle to allow for the rib of the pipe that it's going to be going in. And this is so perfect that when it gets to this rib, this indent right here, it's going to stop. When I was first imagineering these and I just first drew them up, the reason I was doing it, guys, was to save money. And when I went and I looked and I saw how expensive these stovepipe parts are, like literally $200 a section, it blew my mind. You can actually save thousands of dollars doing it. The great thing about these is, if you go to buy sections of insulated stovepipe, which are just double walled with an airspace in them, they're super duper expensive, like 80-90 bucks a section. You can buy these for, depending on where you get them, $5-6 bucks a section, and so you can have about $12 in stovepipe in a 3-foot section.
And we still get creosote in our, we have a double wall chimney on our Elmira wood stove, but we still get incredible creosote buildup on it, even though it's double wall. Because
right.
It's,
and that's because it just has an airspace in there.
yeah.
And so having the aircrete in there, just because of the properties of aircrete, it's an insulator and it takes on the temperature that's in the pipe. And so it lets your stove flue super duper fast, because as it goes up, because the air is buoyant, it's more buoyant than the heavy air around it, which is cold, and as that air goes up, it doesn't dissipate as much energy on the way up, and so the force behind it is pushing the whole way up, and it actually accelerates. At this point, I was given a little bit of a class, instructional type class, to Julie with Dirt Patch Heaven. Now, we have some history because I put one of these systems in her cabin and she just could not believe how well it worked, because she had put a $3,000 system in her home before and it didn't work as well. Where the
Yep.
lap ends right there? Okay, you run your sheet metal snips right up to it and then start cutting. And then you cut in until right to the bottom of this stiffener rib. Boom, just like that.
Cool.
And you go to the other side and do the same thing. So this is the seam where it's seamed together, and you just go up to the bottom of the stiffener. And then you run in like that, and about every inch. Doesn't have to be perfect. As I was teaching Julie, she created her very own right beside me as I built one as well. Okay, so you start at your rib. You notice that's a theme. Everything starts at the rib. You start cutting your tabs at the rib. So right here's the rib. You go one over. And
Nope.
you
You're forgetting a step.
what? Oh. I am forgetting a step. Thank you, baby. Okay, while you're bending these seams, it will totally oval and just ski-wampus the circle of your stovepipe. So you have to have a little tool that you make with a circle jig, and I have several videos on doing it with a chop saw, doing it with a table saw. Anybody can make a circle jig to make a perfect circle. And so I just make a 7-inch circle, cut a notch out for where the seam goes. You just stick the seam and line it up, tilt it a little so it goes in. That just makes it way easy to go in, and then boom.
And you got that little notch at the seam, right?
Yeah,
That is cool.
and then you just push it all the way down, and it gets nice and tight. The stiffener rib actually goes in a little bit, and I have this at such a close tolerance that it will not, you can't push it past this stiffener rib. Okay, so you push it in and just kind of center your dowel and just push it tight. Now, there's no way as you form in these that this thing can get out of kilter and not be round. Okay, now we started our seam and we just push it in a little bit because this is actually going to take a lot of effort to bend because it's 1, 2, 3, 4 layers.
Okay.
Right? Okay, so we just go to the next one, push it a little bit more. The next one, a little bit more. By the time you get halfway around, you can push them all the way down flat.
In my next life, I want to come back as the Honey Do Carpenter. Just putting that out there to the universe.
Okay. And then it's that easy, just bend them around. Now when you get to this one, you're going to need some pliers or some duck bills or something because it is, and then I just get it started bending and it creases on those, and then I can just push it the rest of the way with my fingers. Not everybody can though, but I have super strong fingers.
And you tumble too.
And now you can actually finish the ones that you started. So look how that kind of ended up.
Pretty. That's so neat.
Right? That'd be a good thumbnail. Anyways, so you just finish bending these around. Hands like I do, strong fingers. You can just do it a little bit like that all the way around, and you could take a little hammer and just tap them in the rest of it.
You gotta tell him he has super strong fingers,
You
Julie.
have super strong fingers, even though you're missing parts of them. What would they be like if they were complete? Oh my goodness.
Okay, call someone who can open the pickle jar in the first try every time to come bend this one down for you. I thought it was
You're
funny.
so lucky, Mel.
I am very lucky.
After you get all your tabs bent down, leave your circle jig in place because you'll be using it as a secondary tool to scribe a mark that will allow you to scribe a perfect circle for your inner pipe to come through. Okay, so now you just take your pipe, stick it up, and you go boom, and
Hey, what happens if you want to these?
That is so cool.
And
I
then-
wanted to give you a
Damn it!
just push it over.
When you figured this out, how long did it take you to figure out that this was what you wanted to do? This was.
Well, I figured I wanted to do double wall, but I was like, okay, how can I just use existing stovepipe that anybody can go get and do it?
That is so cool.
Hold up your finished product, Julie, that you did all by yourself. Good job.
Yeah, didn't your mom tell you about my super strong hands?